Recording in progress.
Alrighty. I am hearing myself repeating back from somebody. So I'm just going to ask you all to mute yourselves. Actually, I can do that from here. Okay. I think everybody is in. Okay. Move that up. Side. There we go. If you can hear me, and I just want to make sure that we know where the chat is. There's a chat box on the bottom. If you can hear me and you know where the chat is, please type hello, where you're from, something like that, just so I know we're all here. And it's always cool to see where people are from. Ah, some names I know, some names I don't. Hey, Jesse, long time no see. Ah, I'm from Cedar too. I'm in Cedar as well. Bellingham. Hey, Joanne. Mern. Ah, lots of people I recognize. Alrighty. I will just get started here pretty quick. So I'll share my screen. We'll actually give people just a couple minutes. People are still coming in. I'll share my screen. I'm just going to take one of those out. Um, got a new laptop. My laptop died last night. So my new one, I haven't connected. I forgot to connect my Bluetooth headset. So this one's a bit funky for me. I'm going old school with wires. I'll share my screen. Got a nice presentation. You can type your questions as we go into the chat if you like, or you can wait till the end. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. At the end, I'll go through and try to pull out any questions that people might have. And I'll open up the presentation at the end for as many questions as you want. I have nothing else on the go tonight, so I'll stick around for as long as people have questions. This will be or is being recorded, so you will get a link in your email for this, like a video recording as well as an audio recording. So you can listen to it both ways, whatever makes the most sense for you. And yeah, here we go. All right, now I got to figure out where the share button is. I do this several times a week, and I think I would get faster at it. Alrighty. Can everyone see the presentation? It's got little Jubilee on the beach, dogs with big feelings as the thing. Let me find you guys again. All good? Okay. So, this over. Okay. I've been working with dogs with big feelings for a very long time. My very first dog when I was 17, well, I had a puppy before that when I was a kid, but my very first dog of my own when I was 17 had big feelings and I didn't know what I was doing. And she was a really special dog and she had some big feelings about other people, about dogs, all those things. So my introduction to having my first dogs of my own, was all about dogs with big feelings. And through then, I have had 11 dogs, mostly dogs with big feelings. I'm really attracted to these dogs. They're exciting and they're cool. They can do fun things. They can do amazing things. Or maybe they have big challenges and they don't fit into the average house. And so I know they're safe with me. For various reasons, dogs might have big feelings and it might come out in reactivity or stranger danger or not wanting people at home or resource guarding. There's so many different ways it can come out. But there's kind of a roadmap that's individualized to each dog and each human, but it's kind of the same roadmap for all these dogs, the same kind of toolkit that we apply in different ways to help our dogs become calm, confident, predictable. That's the thing. We don't necessarily want our big feelings dogs to become couch potatoes. We just want them to be calm, confident, and predictable so that we can go have people over, so we can go out on walks, so we can go around and do like the everyday things with our dogs. Big thing I hear when I talk to people for the first time is they feel like their dog's challenges, their big feelings, kind of run their life. It dictates if they go on vacation or if they can have someone come take care of their dog or where they walk. Maybe you take different routes on your walk so you don't run into people, or you're a member of the Midnight Dog Walkers Club. I always feel so sad for people who tell me they have to get up at midnight or go out at 3 a.m. to walk their dogs. That's fine as a management tool, but that's not a great way to live. That's going to affect you as a human as well. That's not ideal for you unless you're a nighttime person and you sleep during the day anyways. But when we make these big concessions to cope with our dog's feelings, then that's hard. And it's not ideal, and you don't have to get stuck there. Um, if you feel like you can't take your dog out in public, or you go to your friend's house so you don't have to have them over for dinner, these are big clues that maybe we just need to do some things to change how our dog interacts in the world. We're going to talk about setting our dog up for success, not just in the training center, but actual real life training. Lots of dogs are absolutely perfect if you never leave your living room and never have anyone over, and the and you never go out and see anything in the world, right? But we want dogs that we can actually go out and enjoy real life with. We're going to prepare our dogs for surprises and ourselves. And surprises, dogs coming around the corner, the person knocking on the door, even though you've got a sign on the door saying don't knock. These are part of life. And we don't need to live in a way that we're super stressed by those things happening or by the potential of those things happening. We can just learn how to help our dogs so that we can relax, so our dogs can relax. And the big thing is that real change, it doesn't come from trying to control our dogs. It comes from changing how our dogs feel and how how their emotional responses to things. Uh, Later on in this presentation, we'll talk about Dream Dog. That's my 6-month program, and it's an online program. It opens today. It's open for registration now, and there is a special sign-up bonus available for the first 48 hours that we'll talk about. If you have any questions about it, stay to the end. I'm happy to chat about that. Okay, if you're feeling stuck, if you're dreading walking a dog, you're afraid to friends over, uh, you get jealous whenever you see someone walking their dog and it just looks easy. They're holding a cup of coffee, chatting with their friend. Or you work hard and you feel like nothing changes, like you don't get the progress. Maybe you've tried in-person classes, online courses, you've got books, you've got a whole slew of courses and things bookmarked on your computer that you try and try, but it doesn't fix it. Desensitization, counter conditioning, obedience, corrections, private lessons, board and trains. There's so many things that we can do. And sometimes you can try all the things or feel like you've tried all the things and nothing seems to work. And you're not sure if anything's going to work for your dog. But I've been there myself, because to become a dog trainer, most of us ended up with really challenging dogs that the standard stuff didn't work for. And we had to figure it out. And then some of us get really passionate about that, and then we become dog trainers. Okay, so if you want to feel connected, have that partnership with your dog, I like looking at my dog and having them look at me and think, okay, we got this. We're going to go do this together. I want to feel safe no matter where you're going. You want to feel safe if a dog comes around the corner, if someone has an off-leash dog, if there's a kid on a skateboard, if the Purelator guy comes to the door and maybe isn't the best at keeping their hands to themselves. I still want to feel safe with our dogs. As we want to get some results, not just keep training. If we train for 20 years to get there, that's not good enough. We need to get some results sooner than that. And we want to do it together with your dog. Dog training is really about relationships. It's about your relationship with your dog, understanding your dog, understanding what they need. And it's not about sending them off to somebody else. Dogs aren't robots that we can just push some buttons on the back of their neck and have them programmed to do the things we want. I can take your dog into my house and have them doing all the things, give them to me for a few weeks. We're good to go for whatever skills I want to work on with them. That's not going to translate to the dog being able to do that with you because the dog has a certain relationship with me based on just those things. The dog has a different relationship with you based on your months or weeks or years together. And it's harder to change those habits when you have that established relationship already. So that's why a big part of what I do is helping you understand what it is your dog needs and how that can fit into your life. Because most of you don't really want to dedicate every ounce of your waking time to your dog. It's nice if we can do dog training, do all this stuff, and still have your life outside of your dog or outside of dog training at least. Some of us do want to take our dogs with us absolutely everywhere. Okay, you might think you need more games, more techniques, firmer hand, structure, exercise. Sometimes if you put a question up on Facebook or any social media, you're going to be told, just do this. They just need more decompression walks. You need more obedience. You need to be firmer with your dog. Your dog needs to hear no. But maybe you just want to have fun with your dog. Maybe you just want to go out there and have fun with your dog and still make progress. That's the key. Lots of reasons why dogs struggle. And it might be fear, anxiety, excitement and frustration, or guarding. So that one of these reasons is likely to the reason one of these things is likely the reason why your dog's struggling. But the most complicated dogs have a combination of this. So they might be excited, but also anxious. Or maybe they're excited and frustrated. Or maybe they're fearful, but they're also guarding. That's really common. And if that's your dog, that's one of the hardest ones. Those are the ones that those cookie cutter training plans really aren't going to work for. Because the problem isn't just that your dog's afraid or guarding or frustrated. The actual problem is a lot bigger than that. The real problem is that all these training plans, these methods, these things you get off ChatGPT or a book you read or a program you read on how to fix our dog, they treat all the dogs like they're the same, like the motivators are the same, like the dog's genetics are the same. And that's just not the way it is. We can't assume every dog has the same baseline because every dog is unique. They have their own unique genetics, they have their own unique personality, their own unique learning history. And most training plans don't account for that. Every dog's unique and every human is unique. And when we learn to what the dog in front of us needs, that's when things start to change. And that's why I love dog training. It's never the same puzzle. It's never the exact same problem. There are no two dogs, no two people, no two teams that are exactly the same. We always have to figure that one piece out first before we can move forward. So what we need is to understand what you need and what your dog needs. Then we make a game out of those skills. We have fun teaching the dog what they need to know, filling in all their learning gaps. We don't want to be putting our dog into this cookie cutter mold. It's not going to work because no two dogs are going to need the same thing. You're unique, your dog's unique, and your training plan needs to be unique. and your training plan changes. That's the cool thing. As your dog learns, their needs change. As you learn and gain confidence, your needs change. So this whole picture is changing every step of the way. It's like one of those choose your own adventure books. Like, I don't know if the kids still have them, but when I was a kid, you flip the page and if you would do this, go to page 17. That's what dog training is all about. And those generic training plans might be a good starting place, but to progress, the plan needs to be dynamic and it needs to be designed for you and for your dog. But the truth is, a lot more dogs are struggling now than used to be. In the past, even in my, in my era, there weren't the same dogs as we have now. We had a lot of good family pets. The neighbor's nice dog came into season, and the other neighbor had a really nice dog, and they made puppies. And those puppies came from two dogs who were genetically programmed to succeed in that environment. So the puppies succeeded in that environment. I don't advocate for letting our dogs roam the streets, right? But that's the way it used to be. So there was a natural selection for dogs that would thrive in the environment that they came into the world for. If you had asked your great grandparents, or even your grandparents, or maybe your parents, if they would have gone to a different continent, or a different country, or a different province to get a dog, to get a puppy, they'd think you're crazy. I went to Illinois to get my last puppy, and my parents thought I was crazy, right? We're getting dogs we're getting dogs in different ways that we used to get them from when in the past. Now, all the good family pets are spayed and neutered, which is, arguably a good thing because of all the overpopulation issue. But dogs are being bred differently. So, which dogs are being bred and what are they being bred for? Are they being bred because they have the right structure? Are they being bred because they're really good at guarding or really good at biting things or really good at herding sheep, really good at agility? We're not breeding a lot of dogs because they're great pets anymore. Also, culturally, we have a changing tolerance for behavior, for aggression, for reactivity in both directions. When I was young and my mom had this belief, and we had to have a discussion about this because I brought home a dog that bit people when I was 17. That was a long time ago. But there was a theory that once a dog tastes blood, the dog's done, right? If a dog ever bit a child, that dog's done. That dog is no longer here, no longer in the world, no longer maybe reproducing and contributing its genetics towards the population. That's not necessarily the case anymore. And I'm not against behavioral euthanasia, but in the past, we euthanized a lot of dogs. Now, people justify breeding anxious or aggressive dogs all the time. I see it all the time. Oh, I'll just breed this aggressive male to a nice-tempered female. Or their lines are rare, or they have this color, or they have this lineage, or this genetics, or this insert extra thing that people are looking for. And people are justifying breeding less than stellar temperaments because of whatever reason is important to them. Next up is expectations. So, and anthropomorphizing. I call it the Disney effect. A lot of people look at dogs like they're furry people, and they're not. Dogs are canines. They evolved by being around us. They evolved to cooperate with us, to scavenge and to follow our camps around and to eat our waste and to help us to hunt and to help us protect our camps. And they are still canines. So when we take especially breeds like German Shepherds or breeds that were bred specifically to have aggression of some kind, those dogs are likely then to have aggression of some kind. There's appropriate aggression for the breed, and then there might be the expectations we have from those dogs for those dogs, and those might not match up. For instance, a working line German Shepherd does not belong in doggy daycare. We're going to have problems with that dog. The odd working line German Shepherd that does do well at a daycare, we call a unicorn. That's not normal. Same with Border Collies. A working Border Collie is likely to be overstimulated and overwhelmed at a dog park. Not going to like going to your kid's 6-year-old birthday party, right? There are certain things that we might have expectations for our dogs, and then that might not be fair to who the dog is. So training matters today more than it used to. We have lifestyle changes. We don't have one adult staying home all day while the other one works and a bunch of, 4, 5, 6 kids, 10 kids around to help take care of this dog, to help entertain this dog. We might also have a lack of understanding. I see this a lot. People go, I want a loyal dog. I want a dog who will protect me if I'm attacked. Therefore, I'm going to get a Rottweiler. Well, your standard Labrador is still going to protect you if you get attacked. If you're out hiking and you need a dog to scare off the bears, my little Spitz can do that. We don't need to buy a breed or to adopt a breed that was used, that was specifically bred to be protective. That's likely going to give us trouble if we don't do a lot of training around helping that dog fit into the rest of our lifestyle. Then there's, more dog training trends and advice out there than there are dogs, probably. So we might get confused. If we're looking online for advice and how to help our dog, there is a lot of conflicting advice out there. Dog training is an unregulated industry. Any person, any one of us, Joe Blow down the street, any single person can put up a sign and say, I am a dog behaviorist. I am a dog trainer, and start charging money, pop up a website, away they go. And because of that, we have to be a little careful about who we trust with our dogs. We want to look to make sure that they understand behavior modification, the science of how the brain works, stress hormones, all of that stuff. Because if you take some money and pour it into marketing, you can put up a fabulous website and fabulous social media that is really good at marketing to people to hire you as a dog trainer. And then one of the other reasons why training matters a lot is sometimes we have a mismatch between the dog and environment. How many people do you know that own either a Border Collie or an Australian Shepherd or a Coolie or a Kelpie, but don't own a sheep farm? How many people own a Portuguese water dog and don't go out hunting birds and out boating with their dog, right? We have a lot of dogs that were bred for a specific purpose in a specific environment, and we like certain characteristics of that dog, so we put them in the city, or we put them on in an area where that dog wasn't bred to be, and we're going to have to do a lot of training to help the dog learn how to be and how to be happy and calm and confident in that area. Okay, who am I? I'm Christina, Bachelor of Science. I'm a certified dog behavior consultant with IAABC. I'm also a professional canine behavior consultant accredited with the Pet Professional Guild. I have trained thousands of dogs over the decades. I've been training for 30 years now. I've lived with my own Big Feelings dogs. Been working professionally off and on since I was in my early 20s, and professionally full-time now for almost 10 years. I can't believe I started my business. I think it's about 9 years ago now. It's crazy, 9 and a bit. But what makes me different is that, yeah, I love dogs and I have a real feel for what the dog in front of me needs. But also I'm a great people trainer. I love people. So when I was 14, I tried to sign up for peer counseling, but I signed up for peer tutoring. So I started learning how to teach people right from grade 9. And I taught all through high school. I taught in learning centers all through my university. It's partly how I paid for my university. And I really learned because I was working a lot with adults with learning challenges, and then later at the learning disability at the Disability Resource Center teaching. I learned how to break things down to so that people can understand, to set the people up for success, not just the dogs. But I'm there to help figure out what you need and what your dog needs. I want to give you some really good, effective strategies, not just fluff or keep busy games. Maxie, this is my first dog that I decided to train without the use of aversives, so without the use of punishment. Prior to Maxie, I trained the way everybody else did. I had e-collars and choke chains and prong collars. I had all the things. It's what you did back then. I didn't know any positive trainers then that worked with aggression. So Maxie was at the shelter. They were going to euthanize her. And I found out about her. She wasn't even 2 years old. She was in with another 2-year-old, a purebred husky, and a 4-month-old puppy. That puppy is what caught my attention. So these 3 dogs were in together, and they were chasing somebody's chicken. They killed a couple of chickens, and they had a pretty good feeling that they're outrunning deer, which was true, but they didn't have proof. So they wanted to euthanize all 3 dogs, including that 4-month-old puppy, literally a 17-week-old puppy. And that got my back up. I'm like, no, we're not doing this. So I fought to get the 3 of them out. And my plan, the Huskies went to Husky Rescue, and my plan was for Max to go to Border Collie Rescue. But Maxie was at my house. I went and picked her up, brought her home. She was in bed between my husband and I, sprawled out, belly up, getting belly rubs. And the email came in from Border Collie Rescue that they would euthanize her. They did not want to deal with a dog who animal control wanted to euthanize, who was trying to have her designated as dangerous. So Maxie stayed. I wasn't letting this little dog go anywhere. And then I was worried that if she went somewhere, she would end up back in animal control hands and be euthanized. But on my first walk with her, she was very leash reactive. She integrated into my house just fine, but she was in survival mode. She'd been living at the shelter for 3 weeks. She was just shocked. So I brought her home, no problems, took her out, and a dog, even a football field away, she would start screaming and kangarooing at the end of her leash. She actually broke 2 leashes. She had an extreme prey drive, a well-rehearsed deer killer. If you dropped her leash, she was gone. She didn't have to see a deer, smell a deer. If she thought she was free, she was gone looking for a deer. So now I've got this dog. And I cried and cried and cried and cried because that's not what I wanted to sign up for. I didn't want a border collie. I did not want a dog with behavior challenges. I just wanted to save this dog from being euthanized. But then she was mine. So I pulled up my socks and I promised Maxie that I would never use aversives on her, and I'd figure it out. And I did, right? I figured out how to help her without e-collars and prong collars and scruff shakes and the pinning, all those things that we used to do back in the day. And when I got her, that was kind of at the height of Cesar Millan's training, and all the training I had already taken was kind of along that same wavelength. Do what I say or else, right? A lot of machoism. And so I went against the norm with her because I didn't like it. And I felt it wasn't, it created a bunch of issues in the dog's fear and relationship damage. And this is when I had first found out about people like Karen Pryor and Jean Donaldson. And so I was just starting to learn all of that stuff. So we took a break from all the training, worked on a relationship, building skills, meeting her needs while I learned. We did lots of tricks because she's a border collie. I needed to get her busy. Lots and lots of tricks. She became a trick dog champion. There's a video link there if you feel like watching it. It is a very old video, but you can see how cute Maxie was. And once we had all that under our belt, then I went in and trained that reactivity and her big feelings out in the world. Big feelings about other dogs, big feelings about deer, because now I've had some time away and I made a plan and we could go do it. And we trained it all and she became wonderful. And then she went blind. And then all of the fear and the anxiety and the behavior problems came back and we had to start from the beginning. But this time she learned faster. I was a better trainer. She already had some history behind her and she was amazing. Maxie became my go-to puppy socializer. If you work with me, you might have met Maxie. Here's Maxie with Olive, learning how to do meet and greets. Maxie with Ellie. Oh, no, is that? That's Maddie. That's Olive and Maddie. Shadow. There's Ellie. There's Puppy Stevie, Chinook, and of course Finn, our cocker. She helped more dogs than I could count. If you happen to have a picture of Max helping your dog, I would love to have it because I didn't realize until she was gone. We lost her in almost 2 years ago, September 2024, due to old age. I didn't realize how important to me these pictures would be. So I didn't keep all of them. Max became a therapy dog, certified with St. John's Ambulance. Not every dog is going to become puppy socializer or therapy dog, but all dogs can learn how to walk down the street. All dogs can learn how to relax and be under control and to be safe when a delivery person comes to the door. All dogs can learn those basics, and where your dog goes from there, we don't know yet. We'll find out when we get there. But asking your dog to walk down the street and to feel safe walking your dog, even if a dog comes around the corner, even if there's a person with 3 kids and a multi-poo, those are realistic expectations for all dogs. So we're going to look at your dog when we start our training plan. Why is your dog struggling? Is it genetics and the learning history or the living environment? Your expectations are off, perhaps. What is going on for your dog and what do they need? Do they need to feel safe? Do they need confidence, resilience, self-control games? It's one of my favorite things to train. Do they need problem-solving skills and frustration tolerance? Or maybe they need some obedience, some basic skills. Before we make a training plan, we need to take the time to figure out what's actually going on for your dog, because it's not going to be the same thing that your neighbor's dog or your friend's dog has going on. Every dog is unique. Here's Sergey. Once we figured out what your dog needs, we're going to take this roadmap and apply it to your dog. How we apply this roadmap is unique to every single team. We're going to prepare the foundations, anticipate and prepare for surprises, and then work those challenges. So some of us might start in the foundations like I did with Maxie, but we're going to look at your dog and figure out where the gaps are and where the biggest need is and start with that. We don't need to start, all of us start working in the prepare the foundations. Maybe some of us need help elsewhere first before we can go back and work on those foundations games. What does it mean to prepare the foundations? Number one, is your dog ready and able to learn? Are their basic needs being met? We need to look at vet health and eating habits. Pain. If your dog has pain, arthritis, knees, hips, ear infections, allergies, UTIs, any kind of inflammation can contribute to mental health challenges. We can't train away medical. We need to manage our medical situation first before we make a training plan. Just because a dog has medical issues, it doesn't mean we can't train, but we have to train on top of our plan for helping that animal be well. Eating habits is one that's often missed. People say, oh, my dog's just picky. There's a real connection between the gut and the brain and anxiety and mental health and our immune system, all of that stuff. If we have a dog that doesn't eat well, that is regurgitating, vomiting, passing up on food, you have to add 16 different toppers a week to your dog's food to get them to eat. That's a problem. And addressing that problem might actually be the key to having a training plan that's effective. How is your relationship with your dog? Can you play with your dog? Do you have playful times with your dog? What do you do to bond with your dog? How's your communication? This is a big one because sometimes when we have a challenging dog, we end up feeling a little resentful and we stop doing things and the relationship really suffers. That's a part of the training plan, is to get us back feeling like we really enjoy our dogs, get us back feeling like our dog is our bestie. And then, are you ready to learn? Because you matter too. I'm a dog trainer, but a big part of what I do is help people. So you matter here. Your comfort level, your needs, all that matters. Your sense of safety matters. Your journey with your dog is unique. What you want from your dog isn't going to be exactly the same as what someone else wants from their dog. Often, I'll talk to somebody and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't train, a heel, or I let my dog sleep on the bed. Like, that's fine. Doesn't matter. What matters is what you want from your dog. If you want your dog to sleep in bed, great. My little Spitz sleeps in bed with me. My big, hairy golden retriever border collie cross did not. She leaked urine too, right? So your journey with your dog is unique. Your goals with your dog are unique. And we have to figure out how it all fits together. Still in this foundations, we're going to play different games to figure out what your dog needs. Do we have a dog who's worried about novelty or afraid to try things, afraid of making mistakes? We work on some confidence games to create optimistic dogs who are curious and happy to try new things. If one event can ruin the whole walk or your day or your week, we want to work on resiliency, maybe for you and for your dog, so that we can easily bounce back from any kind of little setbacks. Self-control. Does your dog just bam, go for it? Or do they pause and think before they act? Games to train that. Do they have any problem-solving skills, or do they get kind of stuck and shut down and stop responding, walk away, or get frustrated? We can train games or play games to help our dogs learn how to figure things out, to develop those problem-solving skills. Dogs that have low frustration tolerance, become overwhelmed or explosive, we can train that. Arousal management, that's a big one. This one actually plays into all of the other ones. If you have a dog that struggles to be calm or to listen to cues that they know or even eat, we can train them. Arousal management is a skill. Some dogs come with, out of the box or out of the womb, and they're already good at this. But if you're here, chances are your dog didn't come with that programmed in, and this is a skill that we need to teach them. And we do all of this by keeping in mind our relationship and connecting with our dogs through playing games and building trust. One of my favorite games for the foundations, and I use it for lots of different things, are bravery boxes. These are basically a box or bin with stuff in it. What we put in the box depends on the dog and their needs. In the first picture, we have a little puppy. I think this is Clover. Can't see her face. Just building confidence in puppy class. She's got her little leg up, just building confidence in her body and with things that move. This dog in the middle, that's Nina. Nina had big stranger danger. People were not allowed to come into her house. We used a bravery box to give her an appropriate outlet for all that angst so that she can learn how to regulate her arousal when I came over. She had absolutely phenomenally, a really, really nice dog. And then here we have Tess. Tess had a really bad interaction at a vet giving her pressure point needles. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. Hit her sciatic nerve, so it was very painful. And then from then on, any person carrying anything in their hands in a situation that might be a vet clinic was nope, not allowed near her. period. It was a big problem. And we used bravery boxes and opt-out protocols to teach her, and they got her blood draw. They got her vaccines and they got her blood draw. Got it done in the time frame we needed so that then they could go back and train some other skills. Here's Scarlett. Scarlett lived her whole life, she was picked up when she was 3 on a very short chain. And she moved from that to the shelter and then to living in a home in town. She was so overstimulated much of the time. And when she became overstimulated, she was very physical, racing and parkouring. I've never seen a dog parkour around a house like Scarlett. She was intense. Big fear of handling, fear of new people, pretty crazy dog reactivity, separation anxiety, and she had an ear infection. And when you adopt a dog from the shelter, often you get a free vet check. Scarlett was asked not to return to her vet clinic. She was too hard to handle, too much dog, and she just wasn't vetable. She wasn't a dog that they could take care of. And her person called me, awesome person adopted her. And she's like, we need to help this dog. This dog's really struggling, and we need to get her to the vet. We needed, because of anxiety and overstimulation and overarousal affected all aspects of Scarlett's life, we needed to address that ear, but we also needed to get a vet exam so that she could start some anxiety medication so that we could lower her baseline arousal so she actually could learn. And once we introduced bravery boxes, and this is something a dog can play in a muzzle, we have these boxes and we put food in it, and we taught her how to seek comfort in doing that so that we could get her an exam. And it was fantastic. I went with them on their first vet visit, and then they didn't need me anymore. And this is a quote from her person. We're super impressed with how she did. Really tolerated the vet visit really well. We didn't need her to love it. We needed her to tolerate it. And she had a positive first experience. The vet was amazed with her. And after that, they had their protocol that they could go in, and each time it became easier and easier. We didn't do much other than use bravery boxes. The training plans for her to help her with her other issues came after. Step 2, or stage 2, anticipate and prepare for surprises. So the world is not built for our big feelings dogs. Things happen, surprise. Dogs will come up to you. People will say, oh, he's friendly. Often walks feel like a gamble, or, thought of having your friends come over is exhausting. You're constantly scanning, hypervigilant, holding your breath, hoping nothing comes along that's going to set off your dog. And when a challenge appears, you might freeze. Your brain goes blank. You wait and see what happens. You're just like holding your breath, hoping it's going to go well. And then we end up reacting after our dog reacts. Maybe you're avoiding places that you used to like going, or activities you used to like doing with your dogs. And then you might feel embarrassed, frustrated, and just like, ugh, why isn't my training kicked in? But freezing when something happens is normal. We can change that by preparing ourselves. There's a lot of mental games we can do to put our games into muscle memory, not just for our dogs, but for us too. If you have your management and your get out of trouble games that we train in this category, then you have a plan. It's in your muscle memory. You know what to do. So dog appears, kid on a skateboard appears, someone knocks on the door, you know what to do. It's in muscle memory, and you can just do it instead of freezing. It gets easier and easier and easier to interrupt your dog's big feelings without any drama, without any negative emotions, without any damage to your relationship. And then you have these automatic responses. Dog knows what's going on, it's consistent, follows your lead, and then you can get out of there without spiraling. We practice the games ahead of time. They're simple games, lots and lots of repetitions, and they become automatic. And this is funny. I love training with people when we start. I joke around that we start stalking people. I need you to go out and start finding men to say hello to. I need you to go out and start looking for a dog to follow. Or let's go hang out near a playground and look for children instead of thinking, oh no, and avoiding. Now we got this. We have a plan. Becomes something you look forward to practicing rather than dreading seeing those stimuli that upset our dogs. One of my favorite games is I call it None of Your Beeswax. And it's basically, I'll share a video in an email that I send out. It's basically teaching our dogs to give to collar pressure in a positive emotional state. So if our dog is looking at something, we can take their collar and turn them around without them fighting us. And this is a trained skill. Oh, Jillian and Veda, who are in Dream Dog, they used to not be able to hang out on their deck or in their yard. Now they can hang out there even when people and dogs are walking by. If you listen to my podcast, episode 45, then you can hear Jillian talk about Veda. Here we have Rebel. If you are listening to this on speakers and you have dogs, warning, there is barking. Okay. This is Rebel. You can listen to her story in the podcast, episode number 49. She's been trained with this None of Your Beeswax game to come away from the window. She lives in a rural area. There are feral cats, barn cats, squirrels, all the things, elk, other dogs, all the things outside. And for an American bully, that's quite territorial. This was a great way for her to pass her time, was to throw herself at the window, trying to make sure that they all knew that that was her territory. I love how Kim is just super chill, laughing about it. So first step is she grabs the dog, takes her away. Now we're practicing outside, takes the collar, takes her away. Many steps build up to this. And then it turns into a verbal cue. Come away from that. That's none of your business up there. None of your beeswax. So it's a game we can train. It's not going to necessarily change the dog's feelings in the moment, but it's a really great get out of trouble game. And it's great for the bigger dogs who are going to fight us on this. A little dog, you can just pick them up and leave as long as they're not going to bite you. But a bigger dog like this, we need to have some trained skills that say, actually, I need you to come away from that right now. That isn't for you. I don't want you staring at that, barking at that, fixating on that. And that's what this game does in that prepare for and our surprises in the world. Alrighty, stage 3. This is where the magic happens. Okay. This is where we change our dog's feelings about whatever is exciting or upsetting them. This is the hard stuff. First, set goals, short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. Setting goals is so important. Otherwise, we might not see the progress. And it's really hard to make a training plan if we don't really know what we're trying to accomplish. We choose some behavior change games specific to what your dog needs. And then if we get in trouble, we fall back on those other games that we trained. This is where we start to look for people, look for dogs, start stalking. There are so many different games. And this is where people get hooked up. There are desensitization games, counter conditioning games, teaching an alternate behavior game. But when, why, and how do you play each of those games? It all varies by dog. What does each of these games do for your dog's arousal or excitement level? Which games excite your dog? Which game calms your dog down? This is the key to actually changing your dog's feelings about whatever it is in the world that gets them all worked up. Now, Rain, this little Cocker Spaniel, he came to me at about 7 months old. I think he was about that age. They couldn't go anywhere. It was hard to go for a walk, let alone to dog sports, which is what this person liked doing with him, Lori. She got this puppy so that she could go and do nose work and barn hunt and agility. Don't know if agility was on there, rally, but this dog couldn't do those things. He had some weird handling stuff at home too, where he didn't want his sides touched. He was very reactive to people, especially if they talked to him, and to dogs, especially if they looked at him when he was outside of the house. And so, looking at him, we started at the beginning to look at what was going on for him. He had a health issue. I believe he had a UTI or a prostate issue of some sort. I can't remember exactly. Once we took care of that, helped him decompress, we taught some get out of trouble games so that we could go out, and if he got overstimulated, we could redirect him. But he had to learn those skills. We had to figure out which were the right ones for Rain. And then we worked on some counter conditioning to change his feelings. He was worried people were going to touch him or pick him up. And even though he was no longer in pain, he was still scared. He still had those emotional responses. So now, once we've done those other things and taken care of things, we could train him so that he could go out in the world. And we can train him so that he could see people and see dogs. And also his person. So when you have a dog that's reactive and reacts really big in a scary way, it's really easy for us to also have those same reactions. When a dog comes near, we panic, we freeze, we hold our breath. And part of the training wasn't just helping Rain build confidence and learn that things were actually safe and fine and fun, but also training his person. The same things, counter conditioning both of them so that they could feel safe out in the world. Rain's story is episode 52 on my podcast. And when we bring it all together, so when we take preparing the foundations, preparing for and anticipating the surprises, and the actual behavior change games, and put them all together, and whatever made sense for our dog, we get connected and responsive dogs. Our dogs and us get better at handling our emotional reactions. And we're ready for the real life. We're confident, we're resilient. We start wishing the park was busier. We start looking for dogs or kids or skateboards or wishing someone would knock on the door. Working those challenges feels safe and fun once we've done the preparation, and the preparation that was specific to our dog and to us. We become confident, better partners. We get clarity. And there's this energy and this motivation that comes with it. I just love it. I love when people get to this spot, because then we can go and have fun out there, and dog training, even though our dog had these problems, it becomes really exciting again. Can you do it? Yep. And I can help you. So if you want to feel connected, like you have a dog that actually hears you, get that confidence back for handling real life situations, and really just trust your dog. I want you to trust your dog, trust your training, trust yourselves, so that you know how to go out in the world, and you know how to help your dog if they need help. And this is where Dream Dog comes in. You don't have to do it alone. Link to Dream Dog is there on the thing. I will send that out in an email as well if anyone is interested. Why work with me? So often, the reason I created Dream Dog, and it's 6 months, is because I would see people for private lessons or in classes. I might see them once every week or every 2 weeks, or maybe it would then be once a month or every couple of months. And I found people were getting kind of caught in the same traps. They get this kind of decision paralysis, like they don't know what to do in the moment for their dog. So things maybe aren't going well, or maybe things are going well and you're ready for the next step, but you don't know how to get there. So we just YouTube or take another online course and kind of get stuck in what to do next. Or maybe we get tunnel vision because we're really close to the problem. Even myself, when I'm training one of my own dogs, I need to have someone else from the outside keep an eye on things, look at things, help me see the things that I might not see when I'm neck deep in it myself. And a lot of people feel isolated. You stop going out, stop having friends over. Feels like no one actually understands. And you don't have to become a professional dog trainer in order to help your dog. Having me there to check in with on a daily basis if you need me, um, having me in your back pocket like that, that is the way to get real results for your dog. So Dream Dog, this is Skeena. I love this dog. I don't know if Melody's here. Skeena is episode 47 on my podcast. I've got two more success stories that I haven't edited yet that I'll be putting out in the next week or so. Um, Dream Dog is a 6-month program to help you bring out your dog's full potential so that you can just enjoy those moments every day. I love this picture of her with her tongue sticking out. Okay, in Dream Dog, we are going to first figure out what your dog needs, figure out who your dog is, what's going on for your dog. You'll get personalized guidance. I'm the only coach. I am there 5 days a week, often more. And I'm going to provide expert feedback on your videos and your questions. It's structured learning, so we have weekly live sessions, and then you have homework throughout the week. The amount of homework you get depends on your needs. However much you need, that's what we'll give you. If you need more, happy to give you more. If you're good with just a little bit, taking it really slow, that's where we go. It's very personalized. We get consistent progress because we're in this plan for a whole 6 months. I'm not going 3 weeks without talking to you. We're touching base. If something goes sideways or something doesn't feel good, you can touch base right when it happens and get feedback and support every step. Because we're doing this and we're doing it all in a playful, fun way, you're going to feel closer to your dog. You're going to feel like you actually understand your dog and know who they are and what they need. And it's really cool to see the relationship between people and their dogs as they progress. And then the supportive community. There's a small group of you, and everyone's facing kind of similar challenges. I mean, some people have intra-household stuff or leash reactivity, but it's all dogs that get worked up and can't function, or that might do something scary or feel out of control. So you have this group of people who get it. You know, they have give you encouragement and some accountability too when you see what other people are doing and the progress other people are doing. That's the progress other people are getting. That will keep you motivated. It's really cool. I thought the community would just be, yeah, that's nice to have. But it's turned out to be a huge part of why Dream Dog is so successful. I love seeing the friendships that grow and build through these programs. Okay, so what actually we do, I'll give you a questionnaire about your dog and to figure out who they are. During our first call, we'll talk face to face, investigate, figure out what is going on for your dog. Figure out where your comfort level is and make a plan. And this is where I am really good. This is my superpower. I'm really good at figuring out what each individual team needs in order to progress towards their own goals. And you'll get homework specific to you right away. It won't be the same homework as somebody else. It might be similar to some people, but the homework is going to be specific to you and your dog. And this isn't about changing who they are. I'm not going to train your Australian Shepherd into being a Labrador, but we can meet them where they are, love their uniqueness, and grow together as a team so that we can live that life together. We have weekly live sessions. They're on Zoom, just like this, except there's not a presentation and we're all like face to face. Individual homework, training plan. We talk about how it's going. What are your next steps? And then there's Q&A. You can just ask anything about dog training. It doesn't have to be about the problem that you're having. It can be, oh, I'm also working on this. Can you help me with it? Yeah, absolutely. Dream Dog is a comprehensive program. Anything you're doing with your dog or anything dog training in general, we can chat about it. We meet every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. It is recorded so you can watch or listen later. I post an audio version as well. And if you can't make it live, you're welcome to submit questions for me to chat about. You get daily feedback, so you can post videos of your training up to 3 minutes as often as daily. And I'll watch the video and I'll watch it and rewatch it and provide you detailed feedback on your training or where I think we should go next or how I think the dog or you would benefit from changing things up. And then you can post as many written questions as you like. No limit. You can post 10 a day. I'm happy. If you have questions, I will answer them. It's a super easy to use platform called Circle. It's not on Facebook. And I'm there technically 5 days a week, often more. I will get back to you same day or the next business day when you post a question. Weekly check-ins. Celebration is a success strategy. I love that statement. Celebrating our little wins and recording them builds confidence, motivation, and helps you have success. And that's what the research shows. That's not just me making it up. And so these weekly check-ins isn't just about tracking what's going on, it's about building up that habit of reflection and celebration so that you start reflecting and celebrating those small wins automatically so that you can have more success, more motivation, more confidence. I was just talking to Kim today, one of our Dream Dog members, and she said she was just looking back through the weekly check-ins over the last 6 months and really appreciating how far she's come. So it worked as kind of a journal for her. She could look back and see what her wins and challenges were when we started and where she is now. That's super cool too. It's something I didn't think about. I have a whole bunch of lessons. So anytime I start repeating myself, I'll make a lesson for that and post it up on Circle, and I'll explain them in video and text format. I'm adding more games all the time. And so if you're having trouble with a concept, I'll make a video for you. I will put it up so that you can watch it and rewatch it and learn it in whatever format makes the most sense for your learning style. Can't all be about the serious stuff. Sometimes I post fun challenges. These are optional, but they're just fun games to test your training or to build your training, mostly focused on self-control and arousal modulation skills. Remember, you're not in it alone. We have a cool place on Circle called the Water Cooler, where you and the other Dream Doggers can connect with each other and just share cute stuff, pictures, videos, breakthroughs, setbacks. I can't believe what my dog did today. Some pretty funny stuff gets posted. You can talk all things dog there, whatever's on your mind. That doesn't need formal feedback. So we have that built in, that community area built into Dream Dog. Some core concepts for behavior change. I've made about 2+ hours of lessons on core concepts around understanding who your dog is and what they need, understanding big picture things like arousal and core relationship games with your dog. These things I have all built in there so that you can read anytime or watch anytime. And these are the big picture concepts that are a little harder to grasp sometimes, not just training mechanics like how to mark and give your dog a treat. These are the big picture things that we can often be missing when we're looking at creating a plan for our dogs. And brand new, I am so excited. If you've been following me, you know, we've lost 3 of our dogs in a 1.5 years, and that was really hard. And so I am getting a puppy. I am so excited. She is coming home in less than 2 weeks, and I'm going to video all of our training and post it in Dream Dog under Dream Dog Foundations. So you'll get to watch me train her from the ground up. And this is included along with all of the existing Dream Dog content. You'll see the breakthroughs, the mistakes, the techniques, and my training priorities. If you're having problems with a particular skill, hey, I've got a puppy here. I can teach them. I can show you how to train it from the beginning. A lot of dogs who struggle with big feelings have holes in their foundations. So watching me with my puppy and getting to ask questions around it, that's your chance to find and fill in all those holes for your dog. She's coming home July 27th or 28th. I guess I'm picking her up. We're using the Circle platform. It's really intuitive. It has apps for the iPhone and the Android. I belong to several programs where I'm a learner for Circle, and I loved it. So that's why I decided to use it for Dream Dog. You can get technical help from me or from the Circle people. And I started using it for teaching back in December 2025, and I had up to 30 people at a time. I haven't had anybody have any major challenges with it. A couple of small things, we figured it out, no biggie. It's really intuitive. It's a nice platform that allows us to share videos, pictures, comments, to like posts, that thing. And it's private to us. It's not out there like Facebook is. It's a really nice program. I also have, as a part of Dream Dog, private podcast. So everything in the weekly calls, those are uploaded to a private podcast. I'm not likely to sit at my computer and watch a replay of something, but I will listen to it when I'm cleaning up in the yard or when I'm driving or when I'm just putzing around the house. So I like this format for myself, so I thought that some of you would too. I also, anytime I put up this is new, in the last month or so, anytime I put up a public facing podcast episode, I'm going to look, is there something extra I want to share with my deep Dream Dog people? And I'll post an extra episode explaining all the nitty-gritty details about the training or maybe case studies around that public podcast episode. You'll get extra stuff all posted here in the private feed. And then all of those lessons from core concepts, I converted them to audio and put them here too. So if you prefer listening rather than watching, the private podcast is your jam. Keeps going. You also get my Foundations to Thrive class. This class is amazing. This class is the foundation for a lot of what I teach out in the world. If you see me offering courses or webinars or mentor sessions for different organizations out there, often is based on a lot of the stuff in this class. It's a class built to build engagement, resilience, and emotional regulation or arousal regulation. And it's all using play. Super cool. We've got lots of games for resiliency and confidence building and for teaching that emotional regulation so that those skills then will transfer to the real world. And you get access to Thrive for the whole 6 months. You'll also get access to my other courses, Trick Dog, Nosework Foundations for Confidence and Independence, and Station Training, and any other classes I create in this time you get access to for the full 6 months. I'm just started building one on toy switching, and that's up there as well. Hey, Dream Dog, it's the change that you've been waiting for. In a month, you'll have a solid starting point and know which skills you need in order to progress. You'll have some fun, easy games to play, to bond with your dog, and to build skills at the same time. In 3 months, you'll be out there tackling those challenges. You'll have a plan. It'll be a muscle memory. And in 6 months, my goal is that you understand how to modify your own plan based on what your dog needs in the moment. My goal is for you to be out there confidently having fun with your dog and for you to understand what your dog needs so that you don't need me anymore. My goal isn't for us to play together forever, although I wouldn't be sad. I kind of get pretty fond of all of my students. But my goal is for you to understand this whole picture yourself so that you can help your dog in the moment and you can figure out what it is your dog needs as you're out there in the world with them. Dream Dog, 6 full months, and it is 2,449 Canadian. And then there's a payment plan option as well if you would rather pay monthly. If you join before the midnight on the 17th, so within 48 hours of today, you get a free 1 hour private video session with me. And that is really good for digging in and figuring out what's going on for you and your dog. We have a whole hour together. What does your dog need to progress? What do you really need to progress? And you can use that anytime between signing up and the end of the 6 months. It's a $325 value if you were to hire me for that aside from Dream Dog. Now, if you think you're busy and you don't have some time for this big program, you can do it at your rate. You don't have to be there every day. You do not have to be there every week. You can come when you need help. You can come to the program when it makes sense for you. And that's why I made it 6 months. When I started, it was just 8 weeks. And then if you went on vacation for 2 weeks, poof, a quarter of your time is gone. So Dream Dog is great for busy people. It's great for people that have lots of time because it's tailored to whatever makes sense for your life. Now, if you've tried it all and you're worried that this is just one more program that you won't complete, I'm telling you, 6 months is amazing. And you have me in your back pocket for that whole 6 months. I am there watching you, checking in with you. That sounded a little creepy. But I'm there to help you for that whole 6 months. And that's the difference. Most programs that you take, maybe a 6-week course or a 12-week course where you just go once a week. It's different when you have me there every day if you need me that often. But I'm there. If you're not tech savvy, this is pretty good, guys. I haven't had anybody yet. I think one of our students was still is in her 80s. You know, it's pretty cool how the platform is very intuitive. And then if you think it won't work for your dog because the challenges are really big, we'll break it down. We'll just set out some goals, set some realistic goals, and start chipping away at it one piece at a time. And you'd be surprised where we can get. So Dream Dog is different because it's built around your life. You don't have to change your life to meet the training plan. We're going to build a training plan that fits into your life. It's designed for you, but it's designed for your dog too. There's no cookie cutter programs here. This is all individualized. Homework that makes sense for your schedule, for the amount that you want, at the pace that you want. Check-ins when you need them, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever makes sense for you. We're here for that. And it's that 6 months of really deep support. It gives you time to really tackle things, not just look for a quick fix or a surface understanding of what's going on. And then, my puppy, you have your Dream Dog foundations. You're going to get to see me train my puppy to hopefully help you find those training gaps. So does it matter if you're new to dog training? Nope. Brand new people, welcome. We'll start where you're at. We have people who are completely new to the concept of arousal and emotional regulation and how to help their dogs. And that's where we start. And we have other people that have been training much longer than I have, but maybe haven't been training in the same ways. So they're learning how to train in these ways that assess the dog's emotional state. And we're training emotions, not just behaviors. So you won't be bored if you're advanced either, because we can get super geeky. We can get super geeky and into the details if you have more advanced training. You can participate however much makes sense for you. You do not have to attend the weekly sessions live. They're recorded. You can listen to them or watch them later. And I hear this a lot. Dog training online, does that even work? Honestly, I get way better results from my online community than I do from my in-person community. When you can break things down into small pieces that make sense for you and your dog, it's easier to progress. If we train together and it's you and me and your dog's afraid of me and I'm in your house, that's a lot on you. Your adrenaline's going, your cortisol's going, your dog's adrenaline and cortisol are going. Hard to learn. We go out in the world and there's kids and you're hypervigilant, making sure your dog isn't going to react to something. You're not set up to learn that way. This online stuff is phenomenal. The pandemic a few years ago, before that, I never would have dreamt of training dogs online. But this is probably 70% of my business now, and I find it way more productive for most people. Do I have to see the dog? I will see your dog. I get to know your dog. I get to know you. We get to know each other really, really well in Dream Dog. I just wanted to share some quotes. This is from the latest crew of Dream Dog people. This seems too easy. Like, what are we missing? I like this one. Have aliens abducted my dog and replaced him with this perfect dog? And this is when a dog was doing super well in a situation that would have been impossible just a couple months earlier. Oh, I maybe should have filtered this one out. What the HE double hockey sticks? Who is this dog? In a good way. And then I love this one. I swear he's saying thank you for helping him feel better. That was a American Bully mix that is working through his over-arousal challenges and doing so well. And that, folks, is it. And now we have time for questions. So let me stop sharing. Okay. Let me see if I can open up our chit chat here. Anyone written any chat? Don't think. Okay. Simon asks in the chat here, for those of us that are local, how does Dream Dog compare to the 10 behavior modification session package? Well, the 10 pack for behavior mod is spread just 10 sessions together. So 10 if we do it weekly or every 2 weeks or what have you. And there's certain amount of feedback that you can ask me in between, but a lot of it I need more information about. So you don't get the same support between sessions that you get in Dream Dog. In the behavior mod sessions, we pack a ton of information into an hour together, whether it's via Zoom or in person. And then you go away and do your homework. And then you touch base when things, either we meet up again in a week or 2 weeks, or you send me an email with how things are going. Dream Dog is more comprehensive. You have access to a lot more of the stuff, Thrive, for instance, the community, all that stuff. The 10 pack of private sessions is more for people who maybe don't want to be on the computer at all, or maybe people who have a really erratic schedule and we're spreading something out for not a serious problem, but we're going to spread it out really far and just get together every now and then. And you want to have that 10 pack of sessions kind of in your back pocket. Okay. If anyone else has a question, you're welcome. I have a bunch of questions that people submitted that I have written out. But before I get into those, does anyone else have a question? You can type it in or you can unmute yourself and ask. Okay. You're welcome, Simon. Okay. I will start going through the questions that were posted. People emailed in. I'm going to share again. Question posted is, do I still find success in Dream Dog and multi-dog households? Absolutely. We have a team in there right now with a Chihuahua mix and a American Bully mix, and they're doing phenomenally. That's why they're there, is intra-household. Intra-household aggression or conflict is one of my specialties. And that one in particular, I like Dream Dog for because there's so many moving pieces. When you've got multiple dogs in a home with one person or multiple people, there's so many moving pieces. I like to be tweaking things frequently. I like to be adjusting the training plan, advancing it, scaling it back, really as we go. And Dream Dog gives us the space to be able to do that. You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to figure out how to share again. You can still type, if you have questions, still type in the chat. I'll keep an eye on that as I go through the questions that were submitted. Oh, where did my chat go now? Now I gotta figure out how to do that. I don't think I can. All right, I'm gonna go through these questions and then I'll come back and check the chat because I don't think I can do both at once. All right. Question submitted was, I'd love to talk to you about management. My healer slash Aussie just turned 6, and we've made great progress over the last 4 years. He goes to daycare twice a week and loves it, has regular play dates with friends, but still reacts to some dogs and some people when on walks, especially if they appear unexpectedly. I walk in quiet areas with good sight lines and lots of places to get out of the way if needed. Many trainers advocate for more training, but honestly, I don't think I'll ever be able to get him comfortable with some situations. For his and my comfort, I'm happy to manage. Management's fine then. Yeah. Um, it's your plan with your dog. You don't have to train all the things. If you're happy where you are and just need a little bit of more management and your dog has a good quality of life, which it sounds like he does, fine. I would work on training him to come to you when he sees somebody. So instead of trying to train him to be comfortable with a person or dog coming around, train him that person or dog coming around the corner means come to you for tug or treat or a trick. Whenever we call our dog to us for there, it's really going to be specific to that individual dog. So I can't give you a specific this will work. We have to play with what will work for that dog, but we train it away from that situation as a good management skill. And then we also, if you bring your dog to you for a high arousal, we need to make sure that we teach him those arousal lowering games so we can walk his arousal back down. Because calling him to you for a tug when you see a person might then create a more reactive dog. So we have to be careful with that and make a plan about lowering arousal as well. Okay. When my dog, a golden doodle, gets excited, he humps me and might nip. He is almost 4. I have never had a dog like him. He has a strong prey drive and cannot hear when he's in the yard. Can you help? We go to training class, and he is the only dog that cannot be off leash in class. He loves treats and cannot hear and becomes aggressive when a treat is available, so I try to train without them. Sounds like your dog has a lot going on. It sounds like his overarousal affects multiple areas of his life. So the very first thing I'm going to do is get a really thorough vet check. I want to look at hips and knees and low back. And does he have chronic allergies or ear infections or UTIs? Those types of things, and make sure that our medical situation is taken care of, because overarousal, like you're describing, can be a dog's way of medicating themselves for low-grade chronic pain. A lot of dogs who have low-grade chronic pain keep themselves in high arousal because adrenaline dulls the pain receptors. It dulls the pain responses. So firstly, I would make sure that is taken care of. And then I would teach him a lot of self-control games away from treats with other things in your home. We would need to have a bigger picture of him to figure out what that is. Perhaps going in and out of the door, or perhaps he wants to have you scratch his bum. We can train self-control around achievable things, working up to training him to be having self-control around treats. Now, if the aggression is resource guarding, we might address that differently. But if it's just overexcitement and frustration, then that's something that I'd want to address in that way. And then from there, it just snowballs. Everything gets easier. High prey drive, we look at predation substitute training. Super fun way to deal with that. Simone Mueller puts out a bunch of courses on that. I incorporate it into a lot of my training as well. I have a 4-year-old male neutered Australian Shepherd who started resource guarding with my older Aussie, his maternal grandmother. The behavior started around 8 months old, despite strong management protocols, lots of shared activities outside of the home, and successful, in quotes, training of maintaining position on a mat for short periods with the older dog in the room. His feelings have naturally changed. He cannot tolerate her anywhere in the house, it's a small house, or yard. He will fly from wherever he is in the room. If she accidentally gets into the room, which doesn't happen often, but busy family, his welfare is met to the very best of my ability, yet his feelings about sharing space with any dog in my home is big and terrifying. He's never done more than get the other dog wet, so he hasn't actually punctured or lacerated the other dog, but they're worried. And they would love a perspective on this type of situation. So having a dog that lived with another dog until puberty starts at 8 months and then had this big of a reaction, I would again get back to your vet and maybe do a pain medication protocol. Talk to your vet about the potential of a pain trial, or if he isn't on meds, starting some sort of anxiety med, because having that kind of big feelings in his home for this long, and it sounds like there were some extra details. I know you're a qualified trainer, and it sounds like you've done a lot of really great training already with him. I would want to rule out health stuff. You cannot train away health issues. And then from there, there's a lot of, if that's all wrapped up and taken care of, then there are a lot of games we can play where we start parallel training or parallel activities when they can't see each other still. Maybe when they can't even hear each other. There's lots of things where we can do to start building that up, where we're building self-control and obedience and listening skills and teaching him how to deal with those big feelings rather than aggressing on his grandma. But because this is such a big challenge for you, I would be hesitant to give you really specific training details, because I wouldn't want to suggest something that doesn't actually fit your dog and then someone might get hurt. So I would want a bigger picture for them just to make sure my recommendations are safe for your situation. Intra-household, again, has a lot of moving pieces, so I'm always extra careful about giving advice when I don't know the whole picture for intra-household. This is a two-part question. When driving in the car, my dog, an Icelandic sheepdog, about 1.5 years old, peak of adolescence, is just way too excited. If she sees wildlife, other dogs, even people, she doesn't bark on people on walks, she will bark and lunge at the windows. She is clipped into a seatbelt, but never sits or lies down for any length of time. We can't black out all the windows, and a crate would take up too much room. Yeah, ideally she'd be in a crate with a cover. Tried giving her a special treat or chew stick to keep her busy on the drive, but she ignores them. Pretty typical. Do you have any ideas to reduce her excitement in the car? Absolutely. Calming cap. So it's basically a little blindfold that they wear, and we condition them to it, and then they can't see out the windows. But before we do that, make sure Ices are athletic, active little dogs. Make sure she's getting her needs met physically, like some really good fetch or some really good running. Make sure she's been getting enough actual exercise. Otherwise, she might just be stimulation seeking, trying to meet that unmet need. So meet her needs. These dogs tend to have, especially adolescents, tend to have really high physical needs where they need adrenaline and racing and sprinting, really using their bodies. And then we'll condition her to a calming cap so that she can't see out the windows. Once that is habitual, once she's used to wearing it and used to not reacting in the car, we can start fading that away and hopefully keep the not reacting. But probably for a dog her age of this breed, we'll put management like the cap in place until she's mature, right around 2.5. Part 2. On walks, she is always on, scanning the environment, looking around for any sound or movement. I love Ices. Sometimes we use a long line and do a decompression walk. I always try to do a few training sessions as we walk, sit, stay, settle, parkour stuff, middle, used engage, disengage, and scattering treats and having her search. Sometimes this is successful if I'm aware of the trigger far enough in advance. She's most reactive to squirrels and sometimes will take off like a rocket into the trees. She's always on leash before even aware that the squirrel is there. Do you have any other ideas to help lower her emotions on walks so she's less reactive? Any ideas what I should do or how I should handle her when she lunges and barks like that and is clearly over threshold? Again, I'm going to ask, are her needs being met? Is she getting to sprint? Is there a safe spot where she can just run and burn off that energy? I think of, and I don't know you or your dog, so I'm sorry if you already are doing these things, but for anyone listening, sometimes if a dog hasn't had those needs met because, they're reactive or they don't have a recall and it's hard, then the dog gets pent up and it's like you've been out in the desert and starving for a week. It takes a while to meet those needs. It's not just a week. It takes a while to meet that deficit and then train things. But instead of just playing like settle and parkour and things, I would look at what higher arousal interventions can we work on with her. So instead of asking for a sit or a stay, can she tug? Can she grab a ball? What can she do? Can she chase treats like in a prey-driven way, not in a settle her down kind of way? And then what can she do? And then once we have her doing that's something that she can do, can she chase you? Then we start walking her down the arousal ladder rather than just asking her to be calm. But yeah, the little spits are they're a handful, especially at and during adolescence. This could be written about most of the ICs that I work with. Super fun little dogs. Questions, 2 left. Our dog is afraid of almost everything, but resource guards us. He's a different animal when we are away. The vets tell us that as soon as we are away from him, he's super easy to examine. How can we help him understand we don't need him to protect us? Because this question began with our dog is afraid of almost everything, then I know the answer to this. When animals are afraid and the thing that makes them feel safe isn't there, a lot of dogs go into what we call learned helplessness and they seem fine. They're easy to handle. So it's likely that when you're not there, he is in a state of survival, thinking, oh dear God, my protectors aren't here. I just need to do what I can to get through this. And he's not as keen to aggress because he's got no one there to back him up. His posse isn't there. And so to change that, we will work on some protocols to teach him about handling and consent. Not necessarily a full like cooperative care protocol, but we would teach him, we work on a lot of confidence building things and independent confidence building games rather than games that where he relied on you, and then teach him some protocols for handling so he understands and he can opt in or opt out of different things. But we would train that at home without going to the vet first. Super common problem in the anxious dogs. Last question is our dog is afraid of oh, well, I guess I put that one in twice. I hope I didn't miss somebody. If I missed your question that you had emailed in, just give me a shout. I'll fire you an email. And that's it. If you're interested in Dream Dog, but you're not 100% sure, I will send out a link to everybody that's signed up and you can book a call so we can chat to see. It's low pressure. I want to make sure you want to join Dream Dog and that you're a good fit. If you want to jump on a call with me and chat about your dog and what's going on for you, happy to do that. I'll send out the links to be able to book that. And then if you want more info on Dream Dog itself, it's positive.dog/dreamdog. And I love this program. I can't say enough good things about it. I really truly believe that this is a really good program. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here giving this presentation. Okay, I'm going to stop share, see if there's any more questions. There we go. I think any more questions here? Just people saying thank you for the presentation and the information. Thanks for the awesome presentation. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. All right, that's it. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know if you have questions. I will email all the information. Take care.